When she declared to her friends at dinner, being with him is practically a charity case. He ought to be grateful. She was openly ridiculing me. Then the server dropped the fortune cookie I'd arranged. When they read its message, her facade of superiority crumbled instantly. I didn't need to utter a single word. All right, Reddit, strap in for the most insane breakup story I've ever experienced. I thought I'd found my forever person, but it turns out she was more obsessed with status, appearances, and sneaking around than being genuine. I'm not the type to make a scene or lose my cool, so I handled it my way. Calm, strategic, and let's just say she set the stage and I stole the show. This tale is a blend of petty revenge, careful planning, and pure karma hitting harder than any argument ever could. Let me lay it out before I lose my mind. I'm Zach, 28, a nurse. It's not a flashy job you'd see in a Hollywood drama, but it's real work. Long hours, aching feet, patients ranging from kind elderly folks to those yelling because their meds are delayed. I love it, though. It's meaningful. I come home drained, sure, but I sleep knowing I made a difference. My girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, Lexi, 26, works as an administrative assistant at an entertainment firm. If you ask her, she's practically running the company. If you ask me, she answers calls and reserves meeting rooms. But ever since she started that job, she's acted like she's on her way to becoming a celebrity. When we first met through a mutual friend, she was laid back, witty, and loved low-key pizza nights and binge-watching cheesy shows. For the first year, things were solid. Then her job changed her, or maybe it just revealed who she really was. Either way, the subtle jabs started. At first, they seemed playful, like, "You're still driving that old Mitsubishi. So dependable." She'd say it with a fake chuckle, but it wasn't really funny. Then it became, "You're not wearing that out, are you?" with a look like my jeans were a personal insult. I let it slide initially because I'm not easily rattled. Want to tease me for looking like I just finished a shift? Go ahead, I probably do, but the jabs stopped being lighthearted. They turned into outright disdain. She hated when I showed up in scrubs if her friends were around. She'd grimace at my sneakers. She'd drop comments about how her coworkers' partners were so trendy or driven. It was subtle, but not subtle enough. I'm not insecure. I know who I am. I don't need luxury brands or a fancy car to feel good about myself. I have a career I'm proud of, and I'm good at it. But when your partner starts treating you like you're tarnishing their image, it stings. Lexi was obsessed with appearances. Around her new work friends, I was invisible unless I fit her idea of status. She'd drag me to dinners with her flashy colleagues, and it felt like I was a prop in her quest to seem important. Like she was trying to mold me into something she could show off. Once, as we were getting ready to go out, she scanned me head to toe and said, "People pay attention to these things." I just laughed and said, "Good thing I'm not here to impress your barista." She didn't laugh, but her friend who overheard did. That's the thing, I always had a comeback because I wasn't going to just stand there and take it. But the fact that I even had to push back so often said it all. The irony? Lexi wasn't some big shot either. She was an assistant fetching coffee, but she spoke like she was closing multi-million-dollar deals. She'd name-drop her boss's clients like she was their best friend. "Oh, you won't believe what so-and-so said in the meeting today." "So dramatic," I'd point out. "You were taking notes, Lexi, not running the meeting." She hated when I called her out like that, but someone had to. She was living in her own fantasy world, acting like she was one step away from red carpet fame because she knew how to schedule a Zoom call. What hurt wasn't her obsession with status, it was how she started treating me. Like she was doing me a favor by being in my life. Like she was outgrowing me and I needed to catch up or get left behind. One night stood out. We were at a lounge with her coworkers and one of them said, "Lexi, your boyfriend's a nurse? That's actually kind of cool." She smirked and said, "Yeah, he's dependable." The way she said it, like dependable meant dull, like she was making excuses for me. I brushed it off in the moment, joking, "Yeah, I'm the guy you want around when you choke on your overpriced martini." But deep down, I registered it. That was the first time she made me feel like she was ashamed of my job. And once that boundary's crossed, there's no going back. After that night when she called me dependable like it was an insult, I started seeing things differently. Before, I'd fire back at her little digs and move on. But this wasn't playful. It wasn't her trying to be cute. It was her saying, "You're not good enough for me," without saying it outright. And with someone like Lexi, disrespect doesn't stay small, it escalates. The working late excuse became her go-to. She'd leave at 8:30 p.m. all glammed up, claiming she had to finish some emails. Right, because every office needs their assistant meeting clients after hours. I'd lean against the door watching her strut out in heels and say, "The copy machine's gonna love that outfit." She'd toss me a fake smile. "Don't be jealous, Zach. Some of us have careers." Careers, sure, Lexi. Scheduling meetings is basically Hollywood. Her excuses were flimsy. One Thursday, she claimed she was prepping for a big meeting. She came back hours later, lipstick smeared, smelling like a department store perfume counter. I didn't ask where she'd been. I didn't need to. I just said, "Tough meeting, huh?" and gave her a knowing smile. The way she froze for a split second told me everything. Then the proof landed right in my lap without me even digging. One Sunday night, we're on the couch, some rom-com playing on her tablet. She falls asleep, drooling on a cushion. I go to plug in her tablet to keep it charged. The screen lights up and there it is, a Tinder notification, not some old app, a live alert. New match. Then another, "Kyle sent you a message." I laughed out loud, couldn't help it. She thought she was so clever, side-eyeing my wrinkled shirts, acting like she was above me, and here she was, careless enough to let her side guy pop up on her tablet while she's passed out next to me. I didn't wake her, didn't confront her, didn't rant about betrayal. That's what she wanted, a chance to flip it on me. "You're paranoid, Zach, you're insecure, why are you snooping?" No way, I wasn't giving her that leverage. I snapped a photo of the screen, put the tablet back exactly as it was, and let her sleep, oblivious that I now had proof. That's when it all clicked. The late nights, the over-the-top outfits, the constant jabs about me being boring, it all tied back to this Kyle guy. And the kicker, she wasn't even subtle. She'd mentioned Kyle before, casually. "Kyle's got such great style. Kyle's amazing at networking." I'd brushed it off because coworkers exist, but that Tinder notification, it confirmed everything. This wasn't just a coworker. This was her backup plan while she lounged on my couch, acting superior. So yeah, I knew she was cheating. Most guys would lose it, yell, demand answers, make a scene. That's where they mess up. That hands her the chance to spin it. "You're crazy, you don't trust me." I've seen it play out, not me. I decided I wasn't going to confront her privately. Too easy for her to lie, cry, or turn it into a fight. No, Lexi loved an audience. Every time she tried to belittle me, it was in front of her friends, her coworkers, her little clique. She needed their validation to feel superior. That was her Achilles heel. So I stayed cool. Kept being dependable, Zach, the guy who didn't make waves, didn't accuse, didn't suspect a thing. She thought I was clueless. She thought she was pulling off some grand scheme. Meanwhile, I was watching her dig her own grave with every lame excuse, every snarky comment, every late night that was clearly a date with Kyle. I was waiting for the perfect moment to flip the script in front of the crowd she cared about most. Public. Because Lexi thrived on attention. And I was going to use that to make sure she felt the same humiliation she'd been dishing out to me for months. The perfect opportunity practically fell into my lap. 2 days after the Tinder incident, Lexi waltzes into the living room, beaming like she just landed a movie deal. "We're going to dinner Friday night," she says. "My friends want to meet you properly." Her friends? Those two carbon copy coworkers, Janelle and Kelsey, or maybe Kylie, who can keep track. The type who can't eat a salad without snapping 50 photos for Instagram, tagging every brand like they're angling for a free handbag. I nodded, said, "Cool," and went back to my business. But inside, I was grinning. This was it. The stage I'd been waiting for. She thought she was dragging me out to show me off as her fixer-upper boyfriend. She had no idea I'd already planned the finale to her little act. Of course, Lexi couldn't leave it alone. She immediately switched to wardrobe cop. "Zach, don't wear those sneakers or those cargo pants. This is a nice place. People notice." I leaned back, gave her the smirk she hated. "Yeah, wouldn't want the busboy thinking I'm not a TikTok star." She huffed, rolled her eyes. "I'm serious. I got you that nice shirt last month. Wear it. Don't embarrass me." "Relax," I said. "I'll try not to trip over the velvet rope." She pouted, tossed her hair, mumbled about me not taking things seriously. Classic Lexi, caring more about strangers' opinions than reality. Friday arrives. She's dressed like she's walking a runway, not eating dinner. Tight dress, jewelry she probably financed on credit. I throw on the shirt she wanted, mostly because I wanted to see her squirm when I still outshone her attitude just by staying chill. We arrive at this overpriced Asian fusion restaurant. Her friends are already there, giggling loud enough to be heard across the room, debating whether some guy's designer belt was real or fake. Deep stuff. Before we sit, I spot the server near the bar, sharp, quick-witted, the kind who's heard a million fake conversations like this. I excuse myself, saying I need the restroom, and quietly pull the server aside. "Hey, quick favor," I say under my breath so Lexi doesn't notice. Can you bring out one special fortune cookie with dessert later? Just one, I'll tip you whatever you want. She raises an eyebrow. That's specific. I shrug. So is my girlfriend cheating on me. Trust me, it'll make sense. She glances at Lexi, who's already laughing too loud and flipping her hair like she's auditioning for a reality show. The server smirks. All right, I'm in. I slip her a folded note. This goes in her cookie, I whisper. She winks, tucks it away, and we're set. I return to the table. Lexi's in full performance mode, introducing me like she's apologizing for my existence. So Zach's a nurse, she says, in that tone you use when explaining why you bought a used car instead of a Tesla. I lean forward, grin at the table. Yeah, I save lives. Dull, I know, Kelsey gasps slightly like I just said I rescue puppies for a living. That's actually sweet. Lexi jumps in quick. Sweet, yeah, dependable, he's very grounded. I sip my water, lock eyes with her. Translation. I don't need to fake a lifestyle for social media. Her friends chuckle. Lexi's jaw tightens for a split second before she plasters on her fake smile. Dinner continues. Her friends ramble about guys, status, who's dating who at work. Basically a live podcast about nothing. I pick at my overpriced chicken, trying not to laugh at how seriously they take themselves. Every time Lexi tries to sneak in a jab, I fire back. She says, Zach doesn't really do social media, he barely posts. I shrug. Yeah, I'm usually too busy working to care about hashtags. She laughs too loud, trying to brush it off, then says, you could at least try. People notice how you present yourself. I smirk. Yeah, and they also notice who you're sneaking around with. Nobody's perfect. Her eyes widen briefly, but she laughs it off like I'm joking. She knows I'm not. That's the beauty of it. I can roast her in front of her friends, and she can't clap back without exposing herself. Her friends laugh. Lexi's fake chuckle returns, but she's sweating now. Every time she tries to make herself look better, I cut her down calmly, casually, with a grin. I'm not loud. I'm not bitter. That's what makes it worse for her. I'm having fun. By the time we're finishing the main course, she's fidgeting, twirling her wine glass, laughing too late at her friends' stories. She wanted this night to be her spotlight, showing off her upgraded boyfriend. Instead, she's getting roasted in front of her own crew. And then dessert arrives, the real show. The server had given me a nod earlier. She was ready. Lexi had no idea the audience she loved was about to see her whole fake persona collapse. Lexi, true to form, couldn't resist. She was desperate to be the center of attention, even when it was clear she was losing. She kept poking, trying to get her friends to laugh at me, to agree she was above me. Problem was, every jab she threw I caught and returned with precision. She started light. Zach doesn't get fashion, she said, smirking like it was a private joke. If it were up to him, he'd live in scrubs. I didn't blink. Funny thing, nobody in the ER cares about my brand while I'm saving their mom. Her friends laughed real laughs. One muttered, fair point, under her breath. Lexi's smile faltered, but she pushed on. He's not big on socializing, she tried again. I have to drag him out, he'd probably just stay home otherwise. I leaned back, sipping my drink. True, I'd rather enjoy my life than pretend to care about some dude's watch at a table like this. That one hit hard. Janelle stifled a laugh, and Kelsey raised her brows at Lexi like, you set yourself up. Lexi was desperate now. She tried roping her friends into her narrative, asking about their boyfriend's ambition or style, hoping they'd back her up. They nodded politely, but their eyes were on me, waiting for my next move. Then she went for the knockout punch. She leaned forward, wine glass in hand, that smug smirk creeping in. Honestly, she said, loud enough for the whole table to hear, dating Zach is basically charity work. Look at him. I keep him grounded. He should thank me. Nobody's even checking for him. The table went silent. She waited for the laughs for her friends to agree, for me to shrink. Instead, I leaned forward, locked eyes, and smiled. Charity work, I said slowly. Lexi, you're the charity case. Everyone sees it. Her friend's jaws dropped. Janelle burst out laughing, trying to cover it with her hand. Kelsey shook her head, grinning like she just saw a knockout punch. Lexi froze, her perfect mask slipping. She looked stunned, like she never expected me to hit back harder. I leaned back, calm as ever. But hey, if it makes you feel better thinking you're doing me a favor, go for it. Whatever gets you through the night. The table erupted. Her friends couldn't hold it in. Lexi forced a laugh, face red, trying to act unbothered, but she was unraveling. The rest of dinner, she barely spoke. She poked at her plate, pretending to listen to her friends' gossip. She thought she just had to survive the night, then chew me out in the car for embarrassing her. She thought the roast was the worst of it. I was just waiting. Across the room, the server caught my eye with a subtle nod. Dessert was coming. And inside that fortune cookie was something Lexi couldn't laugh off, spin, or dodge. She wanted a stage. She was about to get one. The server returned with dessert, setting down a plate like it was any other night. She glanced at me, confirming the plan was in motion. 4 fortune cookies, one for each of us, looking innocent enough, but one was different. Lexi grabbed hers first, naturally. She loved being the center of attention, always ready to make a show of reading her fortune like she was manifesting fame. She cracked it open, pulled out the slip of paper, and her face collapsed. It was perfect. She went pale, then flushed, then pale again, like her brain was short-circuiting. She didn't read it, didn't laugh, just stared at the words like they were a grenade. "What's it say?" Janelle asked, leaning in. Lexi shoved the paper into her lap. "It's nothing, just some stupid fortune." Big mistake. The second she hit it, her friends pounced. Kelsey snatched it before Lexi could tuck it away. "Don't be dramatic. It's just a fortune." She unfolded it and read aloud, voice clear. "Lexi was seen at a man's apartment Tuesday night. She's unfaithful." Dead silence. Then Janelle's eyebrows shot up. Kelsey's mouth fell open. Lexi looked like she'd been slapped. "Are you serious?" Kelsey said. "This isn't random, this is specific." Lexi stammered, words tumbling out. "That's fake, obviously fake. He probably paid the server to write it." I leaned forward, cool as ice. "Close, I wrote it myself." Her head snapped toward me. "What?" "You heard me," I said, smirking. "I knew you'd turn this dinner into your little comedy routine at my expense, so I brought the truth. Call it the fortune you earned." Her friends exchanged looks, half shocked, half entertained. Lexi's face was crimson now, and she tried to laugh it off. "Wow, Zach, that's so petty. You really pulled a stunt like this." "Petty?" I chuckled. "No, Lexi, petty is you spending all night trying to humiliate me with your weak jabs. This," I held up my cookie, "this is a masterpiece." Kelsey lost it, nearly choking on her drink. "Oh my God, Lexi, a custom fortune cookie. You can't recover from that." "Shut up," Lexi snapped, her voice breaking. "This doesn't prove anything, it's just him being manipulative." "Manipulative?" I said. "No, Lexi. Manipulative is you sneaking around with Kyle while acting like you're too good for me. This is just effective." Janelle shook her head, grinning. "Honestly, Lexi, he outplayed you. I thought you said he was boring." Lexi tried again, desperate. "This isn't funny. You don't know what you're talking about." I leaned back, arms crossed. "No, we all know. You just hate that it's out in the open. You wanted to embarrass me in front of your friends. Instead, you're the one exposed." "You're welcome." The server, refilling water nearby, hid a smirk. She knew she'd just witnessed the shift's highlight. Lexi glared at me, voice trembling. "You're just going to sit there like this is some big victory. You humiliated me in front of my friends." "No, Lexi," I said. "You humiliated yourself. I just handed you the microphone." Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. Her friends weren't defending her. They were looking at her like they were seeing her for the first time. I straightened my shirt, gave her one last look. "Thanks for dinner. That was fun." I stood, pulled out my wallet, and dropped enough cash to cover my meal and a generous tip. On the receipt, I jotted my number in case the server wanted to laugh about this later. As I walked out, she slipped the fortune back into my hand like a keepsake. I pocketed it, grinning. Behind me, I heard Kelsey burst out laughing again, repeating, "A fortune cookie. I can't believe he pulled that off." Lexi was left there, in front of the audience she loved, the star of the show she'd begged for. Only now she wasn't the glamorous lead. She was the punchline. The fallout hit fast. I wasn't even home yet when my phone started blowing up. "Lexi, texting like a storm, you set me up. You humiliated me." "That was cruel, Zach. The fortune cookie was unhinged behavior. Nobody normal does that." I let the first dozen messages sit unread, watching the notifications stack up. She wanted drama. I gave her silence. Silence hits harder than shouting. But she kept going, sending walls of text that flipped between excuses and attacks. "1 minute, Kyle doesn't mean anything. I only hung out with him because you've been so dull lately. I needed excitement. The next, you embarrassed me in front of my closest friends. How am I supposed to face them now? Then, you don't get what it's like to want more from life. You're fine being average, Zach. That's why I looked elsewhere." I laughed at that one. Imagine cheating and then blaming the guy who's working 12-hour shifts saving lives for not being exciting enough. Peak Lexi logic. By midnight, she switched to apologies. "I'm sorry." I panicked. "I said things I didn't mean. I didn't want to hurt you. Can we talk? Please, just hear me out." I didn't reply. My plan for the next day was already in motion. First thing in the morning, I took the day off work. Changed the locks first thing. Then I packed up every trace of her from my place, clothes, shoes, makeup, that overpriced espresso machine she insisted I buy even though I don't drink coffee. Everything neatly boxed, stacked by the door. No chaos, no drama, just efficiency. Around noon, the knocking started. "Zach, open the door." I ignored it, then louder pounding. "I know you're in there. Don't be immature." I opened the door halfway, stood in the doorway calm. She looked rough, mascara smudged, hair messy, eyes red like she hadn't slept. "Your stuff's in those boxes," I said, nodding to the stack. She tried to push past me. "I need to."